Our boxing team has finished with the 2024 Golden Gloves tournament. We didn't get any champions this year, but we had a lot of good performances. Pat here had 2 fights, and we put together a nice little slot of highlights where we're gonna talk and break down some of those good moments from his fights this year. So pay attention, follow along, and have fun as we go through some fun moments from some recent amateur fights. All right, so starting off with our first fight at North New England's. Let's kick it off and see what this all looks like.
January 20th, I believe.
Yeah. Pat's coming out, layering his defense, getting his head offline. Right there, he recognizes that he's in the cross lane, boom, and immediately defends that shot. We talk a lot about proactive defense. Same thing.
Yeah, and here I'm moving so much. I'm definitely nervous coming in first time in the ring, moving, making big motions, but trying to feint, get position in the ring.
And he's fighting the guy who won the tournament at novice last year. So he's got a tall order in front of him, but you can see for his first fight, he can hang. From there, we move to our fight at the All New England's tournament, where again, he is fighting the representative from Western New England, who I believe is coming off of a 4-fight win streak to get in here, and he looked it. He was confident and aggressive, and he knew how to box, and he was a switch hitter, predominantly southpaw, which threw a whole monkey wrench into things.
Oh, yeah.
But Pat did really good. So let's check out some of these moments. Nice proactive defense, recognizing what you're vulnerable to when. Get inside of that cross and get under that 3. Beautiful work. Were there any pairings that he threw that you really patterned out by the end? Because from the outside looking in, he looked like he was pretty instinctual with it. He saw something, he went for something. Yeah. Was there any well that he consistently went to that you could pattern out?
It seemed like he was really trying to set up with his right hand with some straight punches or the really big round punches, and then finishing with something strong on the left. So I was trying to piece out where I was moving my head to get to elbow side.
Cool. He's trying to use those hooks to try to stop you from moving over to your closed side and keep you in front of him. That makes sense. Classic southpaw moves. Let's keep it going. Nice roll. Pat gets a nice cross off and rolls out. Again, that proactive defense. You don't defend because you see a shot coming. You defend because you recognize a vulnerability. When you throw that right hand, you're vulnerable over that right shoulder. You got to protect yourself. Good. Beautiful example. You guys both throw hooks and both your guard is up, so nobody gets tagged. Nice. Great pressure. Good, so what were you thinking here? You got under that orthodox cross there.
Yeah. Yeah, with that, I was just seeing him pressure forward with his feet and his momentum, and I was just trying to make sure that I push him out of the way and take a good angle so I can make sure that I'm positionally in a better situation.
And that's the thing we talk about a lot. You always prioritize macro position when you're in a fight. You think about your position in the ring is more important at any given moment than any acute position to the person. Cool, he's back to southpaw here. And you're doing a good job, just like in our lesson a couple weeks ago where you're talking about if you're underneath, attack underneath. If you're on top, attack on top. Don't overthink it. And that gets you that body shot there. And it gets him to run in
to that too,
that cross. And good swimming afterwards. Let's see that again.
Yeah, it's funny. I almost preferred him in southpaw because I'm just so used to that, what we've been drilling out in the gym.
Yeah, well, we're so lucky that we've got so many southpaws at the gym.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a Vermont thing or if it's a MMA gym thing, but 50% of our team are southpaws. So we are never surprised when we run into open exchanges in the wild. Nice. Good job splitting the jab there. Nice catch and pitch work off of both sides. Let's see that again. You feint, you split the jab. Nice. You feint, you throw the right hand. Catch and pitch with the left hand. Catch and pitch left, right. Good job. And you can see how he'd throw his whole body into those shots. You did a really good job of like keeping your base and keeping your balance. That's one of the things that people don't tell you when you go from sparring in the gym to fighting. You know, you tell them. It's all about your experiences. It's the difference in intensity.
The punches that you throw and that you receive are just so much different, especially from my first and my second fight. In sparring, you are playing a game, you're with your teammates and you're working, but when there's someone literally throwing their entire body to not just try to knock you out, but to like knock you off your base, it messes with your rhythm where you're trying to move. So that was one big difference between my first fight and my second fight. Getting used to those really big hooks that's trying to throw me off base, catching and then working that energy into my own punches.
Yeah, we talk a lot about like posture and like you can move your feet and you can like out position somebody, but you can also move them. You can change their posture and their position, all right, and you can off position somebody. You know, you knock somebody over their heels or you make them cross their feet, and all of a sudden, even if they're standing right in front of you in what would otherwise be a defensible spot, they're not able to defend properly. They don't have any reps out of that position.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the big changes. Like fights just are so much uglier, more chaotic, and messier. You get all these nice, clean moments as game of tag and sparring that I don't want to say they don't exist in a fight, but they're rarer in a fight. Nice, doing your best Ipo impression.
Yup.
I see you throw here right at the start there. Let's look at that again. Throw that high, those right there under your chin. I love it. And then you pressure, you double up on the right hand. You're proactive with your defense, looks really good. And you keep the pressure on. You know, you and me talk a lot, you know. You don't pressure with punches, you pressure by presence and position. You stay on somebody, you make them feel threatened. You don't need to leave yourself vulnerable throwing a million punches to pressure somebody properly. Look at a guy like George Foreman. George Foreman has immense pressure, but is a fairly low volume fighter, especially when we talk about old George. And all that is positional. I love that moment. You go block, block, block. You catch all of them. And that's one of the reasons why, like, obviously Pat looks good doing that, but that's easy. All right, if somebody just stand in front of you, they go left, right. Those are easy shots to catch, and that's why you pair your linear and your round attacks. You split the guard, you come around the guard. You come around the guard, you split the guard. That'll be our video probably coming out like 2 weeks from now about shot selection.
Yeah, there's a lot more left, right, that I was able to rely on for my defense, and then have a moment to think about what I was going to do.
Yeah, especially in people's novice fights, like people are so eager to just get offense out there. You see a lot of guys just go bang, 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 and they just blitz out these punches, where if they could change up that rhythm and the way they're attacking, double up on the same side, that goes a long way. Your ability to double up on the same side on the half beat is like a superpower at the novice level when it comes to boxing. Catch, catch, catch. Beautiful. Nice. Good job slipping that 6. I tell guys all the time, it's scary slipping uppercuts, but it is the optimal way to attack. It's the optimal way to set yourself up to attack. Good. Nice, good proactive defense from him. You hear me say all the time, good boxing is when a lot of guys are throwing punches and nobody's hitting anything. It means everybody's doing the right stuff. You got somebody who knows what they're doing in front of them, in front of you. Nice jab. Caught him milling. So he does a good job of just touching with that lead hand. He tries to attack center line right afterwards, but you're ready for it. Good. He gets under. You get under. He lands a jab. You land a jab, I swear it's coming. Right there. Just caught him. Wrong guard, wrong distance. We talk about that a lot. Beautiful work. Nice feint. Pat feints, he comes in hard. Pat turns him with his head and starts hitting. Beautiful work. So we talk a lot about how when you get to the inside, when you're physically in a position where you can make contact with somebody, your head is like an extra limb. You need to think about it that way. You need to leverage it, all right, into advantageous positions because it frees both your hands to attack. So you can see Pat here does a really good job where as soon as his opponent passes him by, he spins him with his head and immediately gets on the offense because his hands are free to attack. That's a fun moment.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, I wish I pushed, came over the top and was attacking
And then
center
hit the
line.
center line.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's hard in the moment. You know, it's so easy to see those as they pass you by, you know. All right, cool. So now we have some other moments from this fight from his corner's perspective. They were filming as well. Nice. There's the chaos of the fight that we were talking about. Nice proactive defense. Nice. Just some swimming work. You're certainly not getting by unscathed here, but overall the boxing looks good.
Yeah.
Lots of catching and pitching. Like I said, lots of proactive defense. Good job splitting his right hand there. And you can certainly see that chaos that you were talking about. The things that make a fight different from a spar.
Yeah.
Good feint.
I'm so happy I repped out so much on my left hand with the jab and the cross. It was...
Say that again for everybody watching. I'm so happy I repped out.
The jab, it was so important that I could constantly make sure that I had this as a tool to keep that distance, and oh my God, and really set up the cross when he was really coming in. It was unbelievable.
Check out our video on infinite jab endurance. All right, one thing that is absolutely not an option is your left shoulder can never get tired when you fight. If you don't have your jab, the writing's on the wall. So you need to make sure that you build endurance, certainly for minimum 3 rounds with that lead hand. Good, let's keep this party going. Good, there's that catch and pitch and jabbing off the hook. Everybody loves to talk about hooking off the jab, but jabbing off the hook is just as important when somebody pulls back to keep them in the exchange using that nice stepping jab. Nice. Catching him twice with the cross there. 3 times with the cross there, twice with the jab. Let's see that again. Right hand, left hand, right hand. Beautiful work. And great pressure circling as you did it to try to hunt for the center of the ring. Yep, you've always got to have a piece of your mind thinking positionally in there. You can never just get so caught up chasing a guy that you chase yourself into a bad position.
Yeah. I was always trying to get one of those angles where I can pressure him or take one of those lanes where I knew what punch I was going to throw and I knew what punch should be coming from him. In this fight especially, I was trying to make sure I wasn't just moving back in a straight line and always making sure that I'm dressing up my position and,
Nice.
and my entries and my exits.
And that's the value of like understanding lane theory. Like Pat's a really good scholar for this, is you need to think positionally. There are 10 different positions that your head can be in, and in each of those positions, you have access to shots that you can throw safely, and your opponent has access to shots that they can throw safely. And you need to recognize both sides of that coin to inform your decision making when you're in there. You're slipping that uppercut again. Nice catch and pitch. Pushed him right over his base. And he goes left, and you go right. Nice. And you exit. He comes exactly for that opening as soon as it's there, and you roll right out. Great work. Good. And you can see you're forcing him out of his base, forcing him to gather his feet. And again, we talk about you can out-position somebody or you can off-position somebody. That's an example of you winning the battle of bases there and off-positioning him. Nice jab. And there's the same turn. Nice. Figured we'd get that in from a different angle. Nice jab. He whiffs that shot. He comes in, you turn him right at the elbow and start hitting your right. You should have thrown that three up the center line. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yep. Pat, that looks really good, man.
Thank you.
Yep. Give them, I know we already talked about this a little bit, you know, just talk to the people who are watching about the big takeaways, how you leveled up, how your understanding of boxing changed from being a guy who's been in the gym for a couple years sparring and traveling and sparring to a guy who finally did it and got a couple fights on the book.
Yeah.
What did you learn getting those fights on the book?
Yeah, so I was just being a full-time boxer for the past 6 months after I graduated, and I have been just throwing myself in the world of boxing as much as I can. It's so amazing how different the mindset, how your body reacts, and before my fights, I was doing plenty of reps, just sparring and doing good work and doing it at a pretty high intensity, but especially like, it's almost like in your muscles where it's like punches feel different. Like there's a certain amount of stress that just, I still have to get used to and that I'm excited for in my next fights.
Learning to perform is like a whole separate skill
Yes.
in addition to the boxing. Well, Pat, man, you look good. Thanks for your help with the video.
Stick around Bambara Boxing for when you fight.